Let's see how this is. Hopefully this should be working. This should be working okay. Let's I'll just double check it on here for a second. And this is the way to do it. Right? I'll do it that way. Nice. So I hear it. Excellent. So it's coming on YouTube nice and clearly. Good. Okay, so I don't even need the Cosmos to check that anymore. Oh shit. Don't do that. Excuse me. What just happened? God, it's being weird today. Oh shit. Quiet. All right. Good. So that's nice and clear in the Cosmos. I can bring the audio back there. Oh well. We were over Ontario about 10 minutes ago, the space station. But now we're into nighttime. Okay, so let's see. I can kill the audio there. Excellent. We're going to start momentarily. Oh, here comes somebody in the Cosmos, but Daniel, how are you? Let's just come back here. So we'll make sure that he can hear clearly. Hello, Daniel. Can you hear me loud and clear from the podium? Yep, you can hear me fine, right? Great. Come on in, grab a seat. Excellent. So that is good. And we're just about to start, and we have one classmate in the Cosmos, but more people in person, which is really great. The Cosmos is not a bad place to be. Hi, Ibrahim. But it's better to be in the spaceship, not out there in the lonely cosmos all by yourself. We are just about to begin. Come on in. Here comes Julian. Very good. And I think we're just about ready then. Excellent. Okay, everyone, welcome to Humanity's Destiny. And let me just see up there to make sure we have everything here. Good. I'll try that again because we are definitely all set, and we can bring in videos and everything a little bit later. And I will do this. Hi, come on in. So welcome everyone to our second last class of the semester. And then there is next week, and we're going to talk about next week momentarily, but I just want to make sure that everybody has a chance to just familiarize themselves a little bit with the content of today's class, which I'm going to tell you about. And then, of course, we're getting people on board right now. So why don't we just do this for a moment and go over there and see? I can follow it here on my phone. So I can see there, you can see your classmates are all at the moment putting their names on the board, and I'm doing my little play-by-play. It's like it's the Blue Jays game or the hockey game, and I'm describing exactly what is happening in this room moment to moment. So this is part of the fun of this class. So there we are. Right now we see, who is that? Oh, that is Karim. Is it Karim? Carmen, welcome. And of course, Jacob is putting his name up there. So I'll bring this back. Come on back, camera. And normally I can follow the camera movements on that screen over there, but it's not working anymore. So I have to make sure I can see that. And it's on my iPhone right now down here. So I've got everything clear. So I can focus on the content. What we're going to do today is focus on perhaps the most important beating heart, if you will, of the future of humanity, and that is the human brain. And we can say that essentially the future is going to come down to what we humans do with our brains and what is the brain and what we're learning about it and what we still think we can find out. But it is the center of our consciousness, it's the center of all of our thoughts, and most importantly, our imagination and our planning. And so the powerhouse for humanity's destiny, the real beating heart is not the heart, it's the brain. So we have to look at neuroscience. We've got to understand a little bit more today about neuroscience. And then finally, we're going to look at this thing called legacy. Now, I want to show you something about that because normally what I do with legacy is I run a video and we talk about this M&M's When I'm Gone. I'm sure a few of you know who Marshall Mathers is, the white rapper and from Detroit. And I normally run this video, but the problem is I'm getting dinged on YouTube a lot for copyright infringement every time I do. And then my channel is taken down from YouTube. And then I have to go through the process again of getting it up again. So what I'm going to do today, when we get to the legacy part, because legacy is about when you're gone. And this is what our friend Eminem sings about in this video and in this song is his reflection on his own legacy and what he wants to leave behind. So there are two parts to today's class. There's neuroscience in the human brain and then legacy. And I can't run this video, but I'm going to leave this picture up there when we get to that part of the class. And then I'm going to have you go to your iPhones or your laptops and you can run the video yourselves, or maybe I will even run it from my phone. But I can't show the video up here while we're recording on YouTube unless, let's see what comes out of the brains right now. You know how to stick handle around copyright infringement. Yes, go ahead. Okay, so that's one good in YouTube Studio. I thought you might have some solutions. We'll get there, okay? I may call you to come and help me with that. Okay. So the recordings keeps going? Keep going, but oh, the audio, but what about the picture? I won't get dinged for showing the picture? Okay. Now we're getting somewhere, Carmen. Thank you. Have we seen you in the class in person? Oh, what a shame. Okay, so but anyways, okay, so we'll try that. Noah? I guess we could, but we have to hear this too because the music is pretty good. So if we cut the music, that means that could we be hearing it here, but as it's being recorded, it's not being heard on live. So we're hearing it here, but we can cut the audio that's being pushed out on the recording through YouTube. Okay, that would be ideal, which would mean that then we could listen to it and interact as well around it. And then for all the people in the cosmos, they can be watching it on their own, on another tab, and get the audio. Oh, and then you don't get dinged for Ooh. Okay. Now we get creative, and I like that. We get some solutions. That's humanity's destiny. Constant workarounds to get what you want, get what you need. Great. Okay. So that's the plan. Is what we're going to do is we're going to explore this idea of the human brain a little bit, and there it is. And we're going to try and understand more what we're learning about the brain and its powers. perhaps even its hidden powers. And then finally, we're going to explore a little bit of legacy and the idea of what you plan to leave behind, what you see your future being on this planet. And if you haven't started your third assignment already, you have that option in the assignment sheet. Here I have it today as well. I can move around fairly. I had it here, but I've lost it. Okay. Then the assignment sheet is up here in. I can get it off DC Connect. You can do a life plan. That's one of the options in the assignment sheet. Okay. So uh, would you like me to bring up the assignment sheet and talk about it for a moment? Because we're kind of at that point when I'm going to do that. Okay, excellent. Then I'm going to do that. First, I just need a scribe to go over to the smartboard. Who's going to be our great note taker? Kiki has done it. So Melissa, you were at the beginning of the semester. Please go ahead, okay? And you're in the paralegal program? Oh, you're in accounting. Okay, so you got to be able to write or at least make good records of things. So, do you know how to move the slide as well? Yeah, great, Melissa. So let's start a slide called ahead. Okay, so essentially what's coming, and what's coming is essentially two things. Um, your third assignment, which is due next Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. And there's our class next week. And I would like to give you the option of doing a presentation as well in the class. So I've left that class open for students who might want to do an actual presentation. It's not in the assignment sheet, but I decided this semester I would bring it back. I cut it away from the assignment sheet, but now I decided I would bring it back as an option, but just verbally with all of you to see who might want to do an assignment as a presentation in class. And I need to explain that too. So um, first, why don't I get the assignment sheet, okay? And I'm going to go through it. Make sure you're well familiar with it, and then we can talk about whether you want to take up that option of the actual um, presentation in class. So, as you know, uh, we would just go down here. So, for those of you in the Cosmos right now, Sneha, Kruti Kumari, Ashwin, and Daniel, you can see behind me on the big board the DC Connect page that I'm scrolling through now. You should, great. And if you're on a laptop or a desktop and you open up to the landscape view or horizontal view, you'll see a really large room, of course, and you should be able to see clearly what I'm about to open. If not, just go to DC Connect, open another tab, and go to DC Connect and go to this page, the landing page of our class, Humanities Destiny, and then go down to the calendar, and that's where you will see the assignment instructions as well as all sorts of things. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this. I'm going to assume that none of you have seen this, but I hope you have, because time is getting of the essence right now. Okay, so you're a week away, and this is worth 30% of your grade. So if you are seeing this for the first time, then I will spend more time on it right now to make sure you're really ready. Okay? So I'm not going to ask anybody who has seen this, because probably virtually nobody has. Melissa and Julian. Okay, good. So that means Kiki, sort of. And for those of you in the Cosmos, I'm going to assume that none of you have seen this. Oh, Ashwin, you've seen it. Oh, yeah, these four gentlemen from Ontario Tech. You guys are at Ontario Tech too, right? The four, Julian, Ashwin, Harris, and Masoon. You all are at the Ontario Tech? Yeah. So you guys are usually on top of things, even though you talk a lot in class, but it's all right. Julian, you haven't seen it. You have? You've seen it? Harris? Sort of, okay. Ashwin's seen it. Well, quite a few haven't. So I just want to make sure you've seen. First, I'm going to read this, okay? Assignment 3 is the most important reflection you will do this semester. It is worth 30% of your final grade and is due Wednesday, December the 10th. For directions, please see the assignment sheet directly below, and I'll go to that in a moment, okay? I'll just finish the rest of this. A bonus of 10% will be given for submissions sent to the Dropbox on Tuesday, December the 9th or earlier. That is, a mark of 30 out of 50 will be given 3 extra marks, 40 out of 50, 4 marks, and so on. And then below are examples of final reflections done by global class students in previous semesters. And there's lots of great examples. I highly recommend that you look at some of these in terms of how students have done their final assignments. But they have done assignments in different courses, not just Humanities Destiny, but all of my classes, Global Leader and Short History of the World. So you may see a history assignment there. The reason I'm putting all of this up for everybody from different courses is to show you the format they used and how they did it. Whether it was a multimedia presentation, whether it was writing or a video, you can get a sense of how good some of the assignments have been and how diverse they've been in terms of the format. So I'm going to go to the assignment sheet right now and quickly go through it, but please keep in mind I'm offering you one more option now as of today. If you want, you can do a presentation in class next week, okay? So let's take a look at what this is, and we have to go to, right, download up here. So let's open the download, and it should open up there. Yes, Carmen. Well, could you put that on the board, Melissa? Just Carmen's question. A bonus for presentation? I don't know. Well, yeah, no, he's going for it. I like that. He's pushing, and whatever he asks is going to help others. I don't know yet. Just keep keep. I'm not going to say dream, Carmen, but keep using that great imagination of yours. I can't say anything yet, but we're going to look at this, okay? So hold on. Let's um, get this. Okay, good. So here we go. Let me just quickly read this. And remember, all of this is extremely important because you've got 30% of your final grade riding on this. Okay? Humanities Destiny Assignment 3, value 30%, and a nice quote, nice poetic sort of picture of the future from Alfred Tennyson, the great British poet, history. When I dipped into the future, far as human eye could see, I saw the vision of the world and all the wonder that would be. The future. How do we see the future? This semester, we have explored humanity's future at a time when the world has entered a new millennium that presents significant challenges for all of us. Of course, a millennium is a new period of 1,000 years. Okay, so we're in the 2000s. We have looked at how to think about the future in a concrete way. Not really. I didn't do that very much, but that's okay. We've touched on it. The more important thing is we've looked at history's lessons, the next big thing, how to sustain our accelerating progress, what the prospects are for peace in a globalizing world, and how science and religion endure through the ages. We have looked at space exploration and the distant future, and we have touched on the driving power of the human brain, as well as projected fates for humanity when the future has never been more uncertain. You have had time to reflect on this and should have a clearer picture of the consequences of your actions and a better sense of the importance of creative and critical thinking when considering your own future and what awaits the generations that will follow you. For your final reflection, here are your options. Prepare a 4 to 5 minute video that vividly shows your vision of the world ahead. Your vision can focus on the near future, the next 100 to 200 years, or the distant future, the course of the third millennium. If you would like to present your vision as a written assignment, you are welcome to. It should be between 1,400 to 1,500 words. You can choose a format from the list below, or feel free to create your own format. So you have a lot of options here. You could explore human settlement on Mars. You could do that as a video. You could do that as a written paper. You could stand up here and do a presentation about that with a Prezi or a PowerPoint behind you to guide you. A Prezi is a kind of a more sophisticated, snazzy kind of PowerPoint. You could do a life plan. You could do a life lesson. You could do a diary entry from the future. If all these options I give you, you could do a research paper, a short story, a campaign of some sort, an advertising campaign, political campaign, just a personal reflection. You could do a scene from a graphic novel. You can try and make an improvement on a current technology. You could answer a question, where will technology take us? And I go on with a few more examples. So you've got a lot of different options of what you explore and how you present it. I'm more interested in what you have to say. But I'm giving you options in terms of the medium that you choose to express it in, whether you write it, you do a video, or you present. That's up to you. But the content is really important, and that's the content we've covered this class. Here are the criteria. Write or speak in a natural style, not an academic one. In other words, use the voice that you've been using for your discussion posts. Okay, it's the same. You're not presenting a thesis or encyclopedia entry. You're presenting your own imagined vision of something in the future through any one of these ideas. Your vision should showcase your creativity and critical thinking, as well as your research skills. Support your assertions with evidence. Convince us with concrete details. A minimum of 3 independent sources must be included. And those sources must be provided at the end in a works cited page, or if you're doing a video, you can put it in a credit roll or in the credits at the end. And those works cited should not include the recordings of our classes. That's course content, and you don't need to cite that. But books and magazines and journals and websites and others, those are independent sources. You do need to cite those in APA or MLA format, okay? A minimum of 3 of those sources. And then I go on to describe some important things about proofreading and make sure that you're careful with your writing. I even provide a proofreading checklist here that I grabbed from about.com that's actually quite good. I don't know who Richard Nordquist is, but he's definitely a real human who has written some good questions around what you should be aware of. And I often say that the proofreading checklist is kind of like my car wash, that after you're finished and just before you're about to submit, if you're writing something, just put your kind of assignment, your 1,400 and 1,500 words, through the Lawns car wash, the proofreading checklist, just to make sure everything is nice and shiny. All the, punctuation is in place and the sentences are all carefully constructed, and, there's no excessive wordiness, and, you're not just sort of going off and writing very loosely, that you've really paid attention to your sentence structure. You've written carefully and well. Okay, so that's like putting it through the car wash at the end. And then as you put it through these questions, and then it comes out the other end, and what your assignment looks like, it's got the soap dripping from it, the soap, and there's polish on the wheels, and the it's been fully detailed. It's been completely detailed. And then you press send. Does that make sense? Okay. Here are some learning and employability outcomes from the course outline. And here's the critical part, the marking scheme that I'm looking for. It's out of 50, and look at these 5 things: critical thinking, creativity, integration of course material, organization and clarity, and then that big one in there that has not been in your discussion posts. It was in your second assignment when I asked for 1 source. Now I'm asking for 3. This time your research matters. Okay? It's not just you reflecting, it's you reflecting with research in it that's supporting the things you say and giving some interesting examples from research you've done. Make sense? You good with that? Okay. So I would suggest that if any of you are able to, that you actually go and look at some of the examples of student work and I'm wondering if I could probably run one of them, but we just we'll see if we have some time because I want to make sure we cover a lot of other things. But there was, ooh, how about humanity's destiny? Why don't I run that? Yeah, sure. Okay. This was a video that was done by a student, and it's pretty good. And you'll get a sense of kind of the creativity that went into it. And so I won't get dinged for copyright because this is on my Vimeo channel. And so I'm good. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link right now into the live chat. Okay. And for the Cosmos, please go to that link that I've just put in there for you and watch that video right now. And that will give you an example of what a student did. And now I'm going to run it here. And I feel really on top of the tech today. Nothing's crashing and everything's working. I know. If I just said it's good, that means bad is coming. Right? Okay. So if I just said it's good, bad is coming, and then this thing went off. Okay. Wow. Okay. But at least this is with us. I can bring that back. I can bring old Marshall Mathers back, and he'll stay up there because he's been through rehab and he can handle all sorts of crap. Okay. So here we go. This was a student's final assignment in this class, and I'll get the thing and let's go. See if this is going to get this.
शबी उठो क्लास लो उसके बाद सोना उठो शाहजेब उठ के क्लास लो पहले फिर सोना वो आपको एग्जाम के बारे में बताएंगे और आपको पता नहीं चलेगा
Somebody needs to mute their microphone. Jacob Skiffington did a great video. But, ah, there you go. I'm going to leave that for now up here. And let's come back for a second. And we can see the cosmos, and let's check in with them, and then we're going to move on. But first, guys in the cosmos, did everybody have a chance to watch that video? Just put a yes. Let's see a nice little scroll of yeses in the live chat. Go for it. Here's the moment of truth. Did anybody click on it? Go ahead. Oh, just a second. Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, Cosmos. Hi, Ashwin. Can you hear me clearly? Yes? Go ahead and say yes. Ooh, what's going on with our. Yes, great. Okay. So now that I know I'm being heard, here comes a moment of truth. How many of you watched that video that I just put the link in for you? Let's see how silent the cosmos may end up being. It's a silent place. It's dark and it's black. And here we go. So I'm exactly, guys. I'm going to assume that nobody watched the video except us. So we're just going to move on, and I'm not going to, get angry at anybody. Just know that you just missed high quality student work. And I would highly recommend that you watch some of the other videos that have been posted. But for here, let's have a little chat, okay, and help Melissa make some notes. Um, be honest. It's okay. What did you think of the video the student did at the end of this course? I put it as an example, but did you think it was interesting or well done or so-so? So, yeah, Carmen. Okay, good. It was well done. Yeah, and so let's get Carmen. It's great that Carmen. Can you just explain what was well done about it?
Um, I feel like the vision was well done. I
Yeah.
think the point he was trying to make was that he believes when, like, he believes in the future that humanity will, or humanity's destiny is to explore outer space.
Yes.
I think outside of our own planet, we really don't have. There's really not much that we've explored, and I think human curiosity is one that's what thrives humanity. I feel like
Absolutely. Yeah, the
um,
curiosity.
if I think because we did land on the moon almost like I think
50 years ago, we're heading back next year just to go in orbit with a Canadian astronaut, but not landing. Imagine in 1968, we actually landed.
yeah. So with that, and then also with the renewable rockets, like how we
Yep.
reuse rockets. There's also constant plans of going to the moon, uh, and I think countries do have most countries do have a plan to go outer space and explore that out. And I feel like with this video, he explained it clearly how human curiosity allowed us to explore the better part of the universe. With the first step being the moon,
Yeah.
and the second step obviously being other planets
Yeah.
to maybe possibly galaxies or universes.
Absolutely. Excellent.
So I think
Nice, Carmen. Yeah, that no, absolutely. You're on it. And there's something else I want to make sure you are understanding in what he's doing here, because it's not just about space. It's a vision he's presenting of a certain kind of way that he's looking at the future. Oh, hold it a little bit closer, okay, like karaoke, so we can all hear you. Go ahead.
he also didn't just mention space. He mentioned recorded human history. Like also he was talking about like how we got the first black president,
President, that's right, in the U.S.
possible female presidents, and
Yep.
he was also talking about not just space but other greater human achievements that people thought were impossible. So like obviously the black president, no one would have thought that would have happened. Electric vehicles, um, possibly flying cars.
Well, we're hearing more about it lately in the news.
Yeah, so
Yeah, flying taxis, they get off the ground.
it
Yeah.
wasn't just only the space part, but overall human evolution. He was talking about will evolve, and this video was made 10 years ago, and looking at it now, he is at least 10% close to the 100-year mark of what he thought would happen,
Maybe more than 10%.
or maybe more.
Yeah, but excellent. No, no, hold on to the mic, okay? Just turn it off when you're not speaking, and then well, he talked about how he'd sort of been a pessimist, but now he's turned and he's begun to be more optimistic. And one of the things that we used to do in this course, and something that you may want to think about as you think about your final assignment, is whether you, during these last 14 weeks or so, have evolved at all in your conception of the human future. Possibly you might have started as an optimist at the beginning of the course, and now you're feeling a little more pessimistic, or it might be the opposite, or nothing may have changed. But it's a good way to reflect on your learning. What exactly have you learned through this semester that you would like to communicate to others about in terms of your vision for the future? You're going to be creating a vision for the future, how you see it, okay? And you have this example and others of people who've thought deeply about the course and the course content. And in his reflection, he is saying that he started as a pessimist. He listened to what was explained in the course. He listened to other students. He came to the classes or he watched the recordings. Although, actually, then I wasn't doing recordings. That was 10 years ago. So it was all in person. And he's reflecting on his sort of evolution over the 14 weeks. He's changed a little bit. Have you? Think about it, okay? And if you feel that you don't have the ability to answer that, then maybe you should review some of the classes, take a look at the notes that were kept, and refresh your memory around the content so that when you're writing this or preparing the video, that you're actually going to do something meaningful for yourself that you would be proud of looking back 5 years later. That was a really good assignment I did about the future. I'm proud of that. Okay, so Excellent. Melissa's getting things down. I would like to move on, but I need to ask a question. Is anybody here really would like to present something in class next week and do an actual presentation with the class, in front of the class? It's recorded. You can watch the recording later, see how you did. I will hand out index cards to all the classmates who are watching here and maybe give some digital cards as well, so that at the end of your presentation, I will ask everybody to write down, anonymously or not, what they thought, so that when you leave this room after presenting, you're going to be walking away with a little stack of comments from all your peers. And not the mark yet from me, but actually what your peers have to say, in many ways, is more important than what I have to say.
Can I get the 5%?
Now that's good. So that brings us to this bigger question. let's return. Yeah, exactly. Melissa. So Melissa's going back. So Carmen is asking, if you do this presentation, would you get 5% extra? Well, this is an interesting question.
Can I just give my reasoning?
Go ahead.
I'm only saying this for me because I haven't come for the past 12 weeks and I need the marks. So, I would be, regardless of the 5%, I'm probably gonna present because
Oh, you are?
from the topic I would like to present it. But if I can get that 5%,
Okay. That's I'm already giving 10% bonus for submission on the day before or not. So you may win this in the end, and I may say yes, Carmen, but let's explore this and make sure that everybody is comfortable. And I just want to say to the asynchronous bunch that I'm going to have to make a decision about this with the in-person group and the Cosmos today. So if any of you feel that I've been unfair to you in somehow in the Cosmos, please send me an email and we can work this out. But I can only work with the students who are here right now to decide. So Melissa, and can we get Melissa a microphone and make sure, Julian, do you want to just hand her the microphone and just turn it on, karaoke, and let's come over and see, and we'll get Melissa's YouTube close up here. Here we go. Okay, so Melissa, in a moment you're going to see yourself up there on YouTube. It should in a second or two, but it seems to be delayed. Just start talking. It'll get there.
Okay, it's not really important. I just had a question.
Yes.
I'm all for the 5%, but if you present in class, would you get 15 or would you get just 5 because you're not technically doing it early?
Wow. No, that's good. You're asking
if
logically,
if
these
done
make
early.
sense. Okay. Yes.
if done early, can I get the extra 5%? If not done early, then
I definitely think what I can say is that even though you would be presenting the day it's due and not the day earlier, you definitely would get that bonus, the 10%.
If you do it in class?
Yes, you would get the 10% for sure. Because the students who are submitting early on the 9th will get the 10%, but the students who are coming in and presenting are learning about the presentation today, a week. So I think it's only fair that I would say to them, yeah, of course you'd get the 10%. Okay, so you will get that 10% for sure. 15, I'm not so sure about 15. My stomach is starting to turn when I think about this particular question. But, you know, I would say my answer to this would be, before we come to the the student I wish was in this class but isn't, but is, and that's Noah number 2. He just comes because he likes the content and because he's a smart guy and he has a lot to say about things. So I'm going to say to Carmen, let me just add, Carmen, if you really want to get a great mark for that presentation next week and get your final grade up, I guarantee you the 10%. But if you come here and knock it out of the park and you prepare, your final grade is going to look pretty nice. It's going to be up to you. So essentially, if you want that 5% more, or even 10% more, you're going to have to work harder. It's essentially me saying, you do something really, really good, I can guarantee you, you're going to get a very good grade. But it's up to you. So 10% for certain, I can say. Anybody who presents in person next week will get the same 10% that everybody is getting if they're submitting early on the 9th. Okay, so let's hear what our, resident big brain and smart guy and, has to say. Just a second. We like to consult him. Also, we want to meet his father too, but maybe that'll come some other time. Okay, Noah, number 2, go ahead. Okay. Take this, okay, because everything that comes in this class matters, every voice. Go ahead. All right. Meaning, would you be allowed? Well, of course I would say yes. But the question would be, the students, will they stay? I can't guarantee anything. I can't tell them to stay. So you may find that, everybody, we leave, the class is over, they leave, they have other things to do, and I understand that. I will be here for sure. Kiki will be here. And if there are others that are really interested in what you have to say, they'll be here. It will be recorded, and you will have your YouTube recording, and you can watch it later and criticize yourself, and I can guarantee that. Okay. I think I've never had that happen in how many years I've had. 15 years I've been teaching here, the student has said, and I think that is a tremendous statement of motivation and interest in the future. And, so I'd love to have a record of that on YouTube to show other students someday too. So go for it. Absolutely. And you're all welcome to stay for that at the end, but there's no pressure whatsoever. And Noah should understand that too, that if everybody gets up and leaves, it's not a personal thing on you, like reflecting. It's just that, they got other things, and you're not
It's exam season.
to them. Okay. Like, I got to be straight about this. Students will want to get the hell out of here at that point, knowing, but maybe not. Noah, maybe not.
I had a question. How long does the presentation have to be?
What's that?
How long is the presentation?
Well, it depends how many people present, because I've done it sometimes 8 to 10 minutes when there's maybe 9 or 10 people presenting. But if there's just going to be one, Carmen, and no, Melissa, 2?
No.
Okay, so if it's just going to be Carmen, yeah?
But so because of the video is supposed to be between 4 to 5 minutes.
That's right.
So if the presentation's longer, shouldn't that add a little something?
Well, first of all, my general policy with this is I have students sometimes that come and present their video. They show the video, and then afterwards they take questions and we talk about it. And that will go on for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, okay? So that's kind of how it works.
So
Let's figure this out for a second. To answer your question, it's likely that you could be given 15 to 20 minutes if you're the only one, which is, if you come in here and you knock it out at 15 to 20 minutes and it's really good, your final grade is going to be excellent. But let's hold on a second, okay? Let's see what's coming here. Anybody in the cosmos want to present next week? Right now we have this one student who is anxious to boost his final grade, and I completely understand that. What I'm not going to do, and I think the student is starting to understand that, is I'm going to be fair, but I'm not going to hand out marks. I won't do that. So he's going to have to earn it. But what you will see potentially next week is a student coming up here and earning a really good grade, which is, I like that. I think that's dramatic. I think Carmen's going to walk in here, everybody's going to be here, and we're going to say, Carmen, we're all Howie Mandel right now, of Canada's most talented. You're auditioning for the show. Are you good enough? Exactly. I don't think you will, Carmen, but okay, so here we go. So next week, Carmen's going to come. Carmen will present next week. Okay. Carmen will have 15, I'm going to say 12 to 15 minutes. Not too long, Carmen, okay? Not too long, because less is more, and it's harder to do less, easier to do more. Carmen will present. Everybody in person who's here now needs to be here in person, as well as in the Cosmos, because attendance for this presentation is more important than anything. This is your fellow student. It's not me. It's not a class. This is respect for Carmen. Okay, so you want to be here next week, and if you're not, you need to send me an email as to why you can't be here in person. You can still come for the Cosmos, but I'd like to see as many people as possible here next week. You will get a tiny bonus in your attendance for being here for that final presentation, but it won't be huge. Be a little bit, a few marks. But it could make the difference between somebody failing and passing. But if you're already failing, I think you know it, and you probably don't even want to be here at all. You just need to talk to me. So Carmen will present. And then after, optional, Noah number 2 will be presenting his vision of the future. And that's optional, but you might want to stay, because I suspect it's going to be pretty entertaining and pretty interesting. Kiki. Okay. I'll give you to the, can I give you to the end of today to email me? I'll give you till tonight, okay? You, make sure, okay? I'll give you, but I need to know soon, so tonight. Okay, so finally, let me just say, before we move on, about next week. I used to be, before I started teaching, a television producer and director and writer, and there's a lot of stuff you can see online of what I've done. You'll see, just Google it. And I had a production company, and I understand how to pitch things to production companies and to people, CBC, History Channel, Discovery Channel, Americans, Canadians, and I understand what it means to have to present something. When I left that business, because I liked teaching so much and I was given an opportunity, I was teaching presentation techniques for a while at the college. It's my kind of way in here, and eventually I was given more opportunities. So I know a little bit about presenting, and I wanted to just mention this to particularly Carmen, but for all of you, a little extra sort of knowledge about how to do a successful presentation. You need to rehearse. In other words, make sure that you don't come up and wing it, because some students do that, and from the standpoint of their final mark, it's usually not very good, because in their time limit that they had, because they're winging it, and they only had, let's say, 15 or 12 or 10 minutes, by the 11th or 12th minute, they're just starting. They've been talking about all sorts of things, and they don't realize that the time is going. And so rehearsing helps you to stick to time. But more than that, rehearsing gives you confidence. Because what happens inevitably, whenever somebody presents, and it doesn't matter if you're Jerry Seinfeld, the great comic, performing live at Massey Hall, whom I've seen, and I think he's a terrific comic, but there are many others you can see. Or whether it's a student at Durham College, first-year student doing his or her first presentation, you're going to feel a moment of stress as soon as you walk out and face your audience. And if you don't rehearse, all of what you wanted to say, unless you're really, really mentally resilient, will fly out of your head. And you're going to be dealing with stress of all these people looking at you. It's often said in presentation techniques to look over the heads of people and present. That's absolutely wrong. That's actually what is taught in presentation techniques. When you present, you just look over people's heads and you talk, and that will help you to deal with the stress. And it's absolutely wrong. You have to engage and look at the people that you're presenting to. You have to make them feel that you're connecting with them. And some of them are going to be looking at you and they're not reacting, and you're going to feel like, God, this person is not interested at all in what I have to say. So if you rehearse, it will stick in your head. You'll be able to look at people and you'll be able to engage with them and present to them what you wanted. So rehearse. Make sure you understand what you're going to be saying and try and stick to your time as best you can. If you're presenting a PowerPoint, because I'd like you to present something behind you, some kind of images, perhaps some text on the PowerPoint. Don't just stand next to your PowerPoint and read the text on the PowerPoint. It's deadly. It's absolutely deadly. It's how a lot of teaching is done today. Absolutely. And if you want a great example of good PowerPoint slides, go to a website called SlideShare. SlideShare has updated PowerPoint presentations from around the world. It's a very useful service. Really good PowerPoints. And the slides are fashioned like ads that you see in a bus or a subway. They're like minimal text, nice images, and think about those things. Pay attention to the details. But the most important thing I can say is really concentrate on what comes out of your mouth. Your language and how you speak to others is going to really matter. So rehearse that. Get that confidence so that when you're about to come in and present, you're not nervous, you're excited. You feel like I want to give this presentation. That's the point you want to be, then you're ready. You're excited. You're not nervous so much. Those are a few things I've learned from presenting that might help you, okay? So is there anything else we need to say about next week, Melissa?
Sorry, I just want to make
Sure.
sure. Everybody that's in class next week gets the little bonus,
A
right?
little bonus,
Okay.
absolutely, for attendance. Yeah. Yeah. I want to encourage, make sure you have an audience. And, maybe some people stay to hear what what Noah has to say too. But okay, so yes, go ahead.
For the presentation itself, I more want to know like how deep can you talk about basically anything, or is there I guess a gray line of what you can't or what you shouldn't be talking about in class?
Well, good question. And of course, I want you to follow. Okay, we're having a little meltdown there, but it's okay. I can still see it there. So let me just bring this in for a moment, and I'll do this to just cover it. Okay. You want to speak intelligently and frankly, no swearing, unless you have to. But there's a reason for it. If there's a reason for it, then you can. Okay. But go ahead.
Not like swearing. I guess like more conspiracious, kind of like conspiracious. No,
Conspiracy?
Conspiracy. Sorry. Like as in, can I?
Yes, you can, but then you got to show us where you got this information.
On why? Obviously, there would be backing. I'm not gonna just say stuff to say it.
No, that's social media. That's. I was going to show you the word of the year from Oxford today. It's up there. Do you know what the Oxford word of the year is from the Oxford University Press? Word of the year? Rage bait. That's rage bait. That's you being brainwashed by social media and the technology to say things to get attention. That's not what this is about. This is about intelligent conversation. But if you want to say something controversial, no problem.
Not controversial, but like I guess. Okay, so the topic is what you think human destiny would be 100 years from now, right? Is that I want to first make sure
You have many. You're presenting a vision for the future,
vision.
whether it's 100, 200 years or 1,000, but you can do it in many different formats. You can do it as a life plan, you can do it as a short story, you could do it as a debate. You have that in the assignment sheet. But you're presenting what you think is ahead for us.
I feel like that's a broad topic, and if I'm talking about it, it's gonna be in more steps or categories, right? Because I feel like there's certain part, like if I can't talk about all of humanity.
You can't.
Destiny in one is kind of like in this specific category, maybe politically, or maybe um, us as humans, we may do this, or like it will be like in like categories, not like us as a whole. I think we'll all be doing this one thing. I think I'll be talking about more like, oh, in 100 years from now, we'll be politically, maybe this might happen, or a war, or like, or like how people talk.
Pick one thing. Pick one thing. That will be up to you as you decide. You have those 12 to 15 minutes. You don't have a lot of time, so you're going to have to pick something. And then when you practice it and you talk it through, you're going to start to see where it's sounding too general or it's not clear enough. So you cut that. You want to focus on something that we understand clearly with supporting evidence. Supporting evidence. Okay? But anything can be discussed. Absolutely anything, as long as you're willing to prove it with good information. Absolutely. Actually, I would like to ask, just by way of helping you to focus right now, what question would you like to answer? I can give you one way of focusing this. If you have a question you would like to answer, what would that question be? And you're going to answer it in your presentation. What would the question be? Yeah. What's your question that you're going to ask in the presentation about humanity's future that you're going to answer in the presentation? You come up and you're going to say, in this presentation, I have an important question to ask. And here's the question. Here's why I am asking the question. Now I'm going to tell you what my answer is to the question. What's the question? That's one way of focusing yourself. You don't have to answer it right now, Carmen, but just to help you to focus, what might be the question you would want to answer? When you're thinking more. When are you going to be thinking? During the presentation? No, you're going to be thinking before the presentation. And it starts right now with us. We're going to help you. You need to plan. I'm getting a feeling that we've got a bit of a winging it presentation on our hands with this guy. Carmen's question. We're going to help him do this. He needs a bit of focus. And what we're going to do right now is help you in the same way that I used to do this all the time with my colleagues around a table. We would have story meetings and we would come with ideas for television series and documentaries, and we would just brainstorm ideas, but we would help each other. So we're just going to spend a few minutes to help you. But you don't have to take this as the Holy Grail. You can refine this later or change it, but just to get you to focus. Carmen has two things right now. It's vague. You don't need to put. Let's figure out what is the one question that he wants to ask, that he's going to ask and answer. Try doing this right now, Carmen. You're going to now apply critical thought. You're going to focus on one thing only. You can't get distracted. You have to focus on this question. We're going to help you. What's the question? Yeah, what's the question you're going to ask? You're going to come up here and you say, I have a question that I'm going to ask right now. Here's why I'm asking it, and I'm going to give the answer to this question. I want us to now help you frame that question. One topic. Okay, what's the question? So the subject is nuclear warfare, which is not a bad subject. Now we get into what's called a topic sentence. but we're going to do it as a question. You've probably heard topic sentence before, which is you have a big thing and then you have to kind of explain what you're going to be saying about that thing. So nuclear war is your big topic. What are you going to be saying about that thing? That's going to be your question. So what's the question about nuclear war that you want to ask? Keep going. Well, you're getting close. Do you see how you're starting to get to your question? And you see how we're starting to get a little more specific? And that if we can get more specific, you'll be able to answer that question in 12 to 15 minutes. We're taking a broad idea of nuclear war and we're getting it down to something that you can deal with. Okay, so there, that's a beautiful question. No, hold on. 12 to 15 minutes. You're not writing a book. You're not doing an encyclopedia entry. You're just got 12 to 15 minutes. Can humanity prevent a nuclear war?
So for this, can I talk about if it does?
We're starting to get into too muchness. Too muchness. Too much. We don't. Too muchness is when you bite off more than you can chew and you end up saying a lot, but it's kind of superficial. You're saying too many things. I want you to pick one thing and go deeper with it. Go ahead. Yeah, for sure. Do you have somebody you can give this practice in front of who will tell you what they think? Do you have a friend, a brother, a relative? Then record it. Then record yourself practicing and then watch yourself on video. And then you will be able to decide when you are doing too much. But I'm going to have to stop just because I want to make sure we move on with the content. But this is actually very important for the other students to hear, and for you, most importantly, to be able to focus this into one specific question that you're going to answer. You're going to do your best to answer. Can we prevent nuclear war? And I, frankly, am going to come next week wondering, what's this guy going to say? It's going to be interesting. Can we or can we not? Your conclusion is going to be the answer to the big question. You will know by the time you begin to, after you're practicing and you're ready to give it, you will know what the answer is. Yes or no. If it's yes, we can prevent it, then you're going to give us examples of how we can prevent it. If it's no, you're going to give us examples of how we can't prevent it. And so you could do something like this. You could come up and you say, I have a big question. I think this relates very much to what we've been covering this semester. I'm concerned about war, specifically nuclear war. My question is, can we prevent a nuclear war on Earth? Well, I'm going to answer this question for you. I think we can. And I'm going to give you 3 examples in my presentation. I'm going to explain why. And then at the end, I'm going to conclude with my final, most important statement about this, in which the examples I've given and everything will make so much sense. It will be the final word from a very important philosopher, one of my most important sources who's spoken about this. Your beginning, your middle, and your end. Your beginning is you pose the question, your middle is you give the examples, and the end is when you finally give your big conclusion. Does that make sense? Okay. Noah number 2, and then we're going to just do a quick something with the brain and legacy, and then we're going to end, okay? Noah, go ahead. Yes. Yes, he could. Yeah. That's another option. You could do pros and say we don't know, but you may have a very clear